What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over two different types of trellising that you can do on a budget, and you can use it for pretty much any vegetable using only some post and some string. So we're going to get right into it. The two types of trellising that we're going to go with today is going to be the first one, which is my favorite, the Florida weave, and a second one, which is experimental. I've never done it before, which is kind of a lattice style. Still, we're going with the budget-friendly method, using just these little 1-inch wide wooden posts and some string, doing both of these methods. So the first thing we're going to do is I have 3 posts that are going to be in the ground. So I want to cut an angle into just one side of these posts just to make it easier to drive them into the ground. So that way I'm not using just a flat bottom. So let's go ahead and do that now. You don't have to be exact, just make it a point. Obviously safety first. I'm not a, well, we'll say I'm a trained professional. All right, so now that I've cut a point into the ends, we're gonna work on the lattice style first. And as you can see, I've kind of laid out how the framing of it is going to look. And so basically just a square. And then the way I'm gonna do the latticing is I'm gonna put screws in increments of about, I wanna say 3 inches, all the way across here and down here around all 4 sides. And then we're gonna loop the string and kind of zigzag it along one way and then the other way, creating the little squares, the latticing. And the holes will be big enough for the leaves to make it through, and it'll be able to grow vertically. We'll get into the purpose of growing vertically once we get over there and start setting it all up. First things first is initially setting up the frame. So let's go ahead and get this set up. I'm gonna do these back legs first since I already got these lined up. Now it is time to put the screws around the frame. I'm not gonna measure, I'm just gonna eyeball it. All right, I've gotten the screws and the frame all the way around. So now it is time to attach the string. So starting off, you're gonna take one end and you're just gonna pick the top corner, one of the top corner screws or bottom corner, it don't really matter. Just one of the corner screws, and you're gonna tie it off. So once that is tied off, I'm gonna start with the vertical latticing first. You're gonna go to the next screw over, and you go straight down, match it up to this screw here, go one over, and you're gonna go up here, one over, back down, one over, back up. And you're just gonna do this all the way across. You wanna keep it tight so it doesn't come off. Occasionally, like, give each end a tug. There we go. Bring it down here and tie it off at, I'm gonna loop it around here to keep the tension, and then I'm gonna bring it back here and tie it off. Where's my knife? There we go. That is the vertical line, and now we're going to do the horizontal. It's going the same way. Start up here and work our way across. Stick this down a little further, make it easier to work with. There we go. So you're gonna do the exact same method, just going across rather than up and down. There we go. We are done with the lattice work. This is going to be for the cucumbers for when they grow in. They're not up to size yet. So when they start getting bigger, this is going to be their trellis. And for the summer squash, we are going to be using the Florida weave, which is what we're going to cover next. All right, so we're going to go ahead and install the latticing before I get caught in the rain. And so we're gonna stick this. You don't want to be too close to the roots, but these plants are still young enough. I feel like I'll be fine here. And that looks about perfect. And I know you OCD people are gonna be driven insane by this uneven bit right here, but y'all are just gonna have to live with it. I would recommend using a hammer or a mallet, not just stomping this down because you could destroy the frame with your boot. Not for the latticing, but for... So, there we go. That is the first one done. Next step is the Florida weave for the squash down this. Okay, so this is the lattice trellis for the cucumbers, and next up we are going to do the Florida weave for the summer squash. And I don't know if y'all can hear that thunder, but I'm gonna try to beat the rain out here. So let's go ahead and get started with the Florida weave and see if we can beat the Florida weather. As you can see, I did not beat the Florida weather. So that rose a concern. I have a cover. One of these, it's a little 12 by 12 like pop-up canopy. And I usually use it just for sitting out here. But I started to think, it's been raining a lot. I don't want my plants, I don't want powdery mildew to become an issue because of the excess moisture. I don't want them to get overwatered. So there's quite a few issues that are starting to like pop into my head because it is starting to rain a lot. So I'm trying to think of a way to get this cover whenever it's raining easily to the garden. And then when I'm not using it, just bring it back. But I'm just one person. And so bringing this thing out, if you've ever done one of these pop-up canopies, just one person, it takes a while. I thought of something. I thought, why not? Because there's already holes in there's already holes at the base of the legs of these little pop-up canopies. I'll show you right here. If you look, there's little holes right there at the base, at the feet of these little pop-up canopies. It's like little holes in the sides here. And so I started thinking, I was like, what if I could just use the stakes that already come with the thing as like temporary axles and just put like I went to Ace and I bought some little lawnmower wheels and like just these little plastic wheels. Just bought these little plastic wheels from Ace Hardware, and I figured, I was like, because it's raining a lot, I want to be able to move this down there. So here's what I'm gonna do. Check this out. It's super fast and it actually works. So the stake, just one of these little stakes here, lift it up a little bit. And yeah, it's a little flimsy, but it makes it to where this is easily rolled. And so just do it on the other side. Then I can pick it up on one end and roll it over the garden, because the garden is almost exactly the dimensions of this. So I can cover the garden during a storm. So I'm gonna get the camera under a cover and show you that process. I'm really excited about this. Okay, so like I said before, I did not beat the weather. So I'm getting the other wheel put on the gazebo, and I'm gonna roll it over here and show you guys the whole process. And you can't beat Florida man. I'm gonna lower this end down so it's easier to handle. There we go. Now I can pick it up. I got more clearance on where I'm going. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna watch the tree. Watch the tomatoes. Okay, set it down real quick. Fuck yeah. All right, raise this up. Now I just gotta shift it over a little bit. There we go. It's draining into the walkway and not on the plants. Obviously, there's still the corn and the beans that's uncovered, but I think I'm a genius. Hell yeah. All right, now that we are out of the rain, we are safe to continue with the second method of trellising, which is the Florida weave, which Florida weave is a very simple method that you can use for tomatoes, for your squash, cucumbers, okra, whatever, pretty much any vegetable that you want to grow vertically, you can use the Florida weave method and it's going to work every time. So it's extremely simple. All it takes is, I'm gonna use this post as well as the secondary post. So I only need to put one more post in the ground. So I'm gonna put this well on the outside. I'm actually gonna use this as well as the trellis post. I'm gonna use it as the hose guide as well. Because my soaker hose, it runs along here, and now I'll have a post that it can just wrap along with. Yeah, I'd say that's good enough. So now we're going to get started with the Florida weave, and it's called a weave. It's the Florida weave because you're weaving the line in and around the plants. So it'll be around this side, then around the back of this one. So it just zigzags around your plants, and you loop it back both ways, and so it keeps tension on the plant in both directions, but it doesn't like squeeze the life out of the plant. So I think this method is extremely effective and very budget friendly. So I'm going to drill another hole, because that one, after I hammered this post down a little bit more, it seems too low. So not a problem. How high is that? Yeah. Gotta like twist this end up, because this line that I use is it gets really frayed. So tie this around. Okay, so I want to be able to, I want this plant to kind of stand up. So I'm going to kind of hold it where I want it to be and try my best to tie the line. In a way that kind of runs naturally, but holds it up. I think that's going to be the route to go right here. Because it's going to grow with it. So attention back on that side. Yeah, that'll work. So get that way, and then this plant, I'll run it along this way. That's perfect. And then I'm gonna loop this around this screw here. And then just around the backside, why not? And I'm gonna come back on the other side of the plant on this side. And I'm gonna come around the front on this plant, and my line is too short. Oh wait, yeah, I'll make that work. So I'm gonna wrap that around this way. It's gonna give it, there we go. That's the support that I wanted to have. There we go. And just a little minor adjustment here. You can just change the height a little bit on this side. I can slide it up and down. So that one's gonna be supported as that grows up. And this one, this leaf is now off the ground. I'm probably, yeah, I'm gonna trim these 3 lower ones here because they're already starting to be spotted. And that leaf there is starting to die because it was sitting in the ground for a bit. So I'm gonna grab my clippers real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these. So that way the plant's not gonna be using its energy trying to keep these leaves going. And there we go. Florida weave. All right, so as you can see, the rain has stopped. So we no longer have the need for my genius idea. And so now it's time to see if it rolls back just as easy as it rolled coming this way, because I know I had to work around the tomatoes and all that. So just gonna see if this works. That ground stake keeps getting hung up on the tomato cage. Or not the cage, but the bed. But yeah, this is easy. There we go. And just take the wheels off. All right, guys, well, I hope this was helpful. This has been 2 different types of trellising that are extremely cheap and also extremely effective. You got your latticing and your Florida weave technique. And as you can see, my squash is now happily standing up off the ground and none of the leaves are even close to touching anymore. So, 2 very cheap and effective methods to support your plants and their growth. Obviously, my cucumbers aren't big enough yet to even give you an example, but they will be soon. So stay tuned for that video. And as always, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you guys on the next one.